Well, hello everyone. I was gonna wait until later today to go live. I was gonna do it outside, but well, here in Minnesota, the United States, it is just about to rain. So I figure I better get it done now. And the energy is moving already, so maybe it's a good thing. But okay, hopefully the music in the background isn't that loud. Um, so I thought that I would come on and talk a little bit about what has come through for me this morning. But before we move into that conversation, I brought my chimes in. So I figured I'd play these just a little bit to kind of balance out the energy in the collective. More and more light language is coming through me, so we'll see if that is something that wants to come through too. I'm being asked actually to do that. I get a little nervous about it because it's something. Hold on, I need to just take a breath. They're just saying, take a breath. Okay. I get a little nervous about it because it is not something that comes it is natural for me, but my programming has made it not natural. It has made me like deny it, my true language. So I'm in the process of coming into it too and getting comfortable with it as well. And the other great thing about my light language, which is most people's light language, but mine's a little different in that I am really my own activator too. So I am activating myself just as much as I am activating anyone else. So that's why they're saying it's really important that I just get comfortable with it. And it is relatable because as other people are maybe coming into new energies themselves, they're coming into a new way of life, a new way of living, no matter what that is, everyone feels discomfort, right? So they're like, what better way to help support and heal and guide, but to show that I experience all this stuff too. There's no difference. We have a tendency to think like, oh, if someone is a doctor, someone's a healer, if someone is a lawyer, if someone's a president, then they must have everything all together and they don't mess up, or they're not just trying to figure it out on their way too, which the truth is they are. There's no one's any different from anyone else. Maybe their challenges or things they're working on might be different, but it's all the same energy, right? Okay, so maybe I'm saying that for myself too, to kind of help me just get comfortable of moving into this. So we'll just open it up a little bit with some chimes. I love chimes. And we'll just take a couple deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. One more. Another deep breath in through your nose. And out through your mouth. As much as you can, remember to breathe throughout the day. It's what will ground you. It's what will keep you centered. It's what will open up the energy so you can move into what's trying to come through. And if that is just support and internal knowledge, internal knowing, then you can view it that way too. If you view it, your supports are the ethereal, our source, our elementals, you can view it as that as well. Or you can view it as your higher self. It's you, the deeper part of you, trying to come through and speak through you. Help you work through a bit of anxiety. And remind yourself that things don't have to be that hard. If you're trying to make some changes, adaptions, new directions, remind yourself that it doesn't have to be that hard. If you're pushing and pushing and pushing, maybe it's time to just move into the flow. Move your body. Moving your body helps open your energy up. That's all our network in our brain is. It's energy. So that's why dance and movement, getting up and getting around, it doesn't really matter like how you view what's going on in the world right now. Even if you view it as far as like just how things have always been, why do you think you're told to get up and get going when things are maybe more condensed or more difficult, or you feel a little more entrapment? Because it opens up the movement, it opens up the fluidity around you so that you can make better choices, so that you can make good moves, good chess moves. And I know one of the things that's moving within me is I'm moving from the fire element to the water, but ice. And moving, switching paths in life, switching directions requires adjustment, right? Ushini kusha, ushini wa, ishe kuki, uini waka, ushi, ani uka, washa. Oh, yes. All right, so we just moved a little energy around. I'm going to quick pull a card and see what we're wanting to talk about for the next 10 minutes. First, I'm going to take a drink of my Red Bull, though. All right. Woo, take a breath. And when that energy moves in and it moves out, it leaves me a little staticky. So, okay. Let's see what the hidden realms want to share with us today. See what they want to share. I love this deck. I've been using it for the past couple weeks for myself, just because there's so many visuals in it, and they're so different. It's not like it's one theme, even though it's like the same color scheme. The messages are in there are very different. And as I was throwing this down, I saw the dancers. And the Ego King is trying to be turned around. Okay, so we're being asked to look at the bigger picture. Angelic help. Excuse me, I'm burping. So that means releasing fear. When you're feeling anxious, like, you know what, you don't know if something's going to pan out for you. You don't know if you can stay focused and on track. You don't know if you can stay centered. That's when you ask for support. Now, whether it's an ethereal support, whether it's an internal support, or whether it's support in those around you. Not being afraid to ask. We have this. So the Ego King is masculine energy again. And a lot of masculine energy is being burned through right now. To help cleanse it. Because you know what? Our masculine energy, particularly in our males here on Earth, has been rigged. It's gotten rigged up. And you know, One of the reasons I feel grateful to be a woman, because that's hard. That's hard to be a man and be asked to move into this masculine energy, but then have all the energy all messed up in it. So what's happening right now is we're cleansing that out as a collective. We're combing through that. We're removing things that, you know, A, maybe don't belong there, or B, were just no longer needed. And we're releasing them. And because energy is eternal, it's not like we're killing it. We're just moving it back to where it belongs. And that helps us understand that even what we conceive as negative has place, has placement here within eternity, within evolution, within the infinite. So, looking at the big picture and asking for help, that's one of the things that I think there's kind of lots of jokes about, like, you know, if a man doesn't ask for help or doesn't ask for directions, because there's anxiety that's attached to it. There's a learning curve that's attached to it, that if you were to ask for help, then that's a sign of weakness. That's a show that you don't know. That's what's taught. That's what's ingrained. And what is being suggested today is that we start to challenge that. And that, you know, what we learned in second grade, that if you ask somebody something, then you're cheating. Is that true? Most, if not everything that we come to understand here in the 3D is as a result of being taught, being shown. So as we get older, as we get more grounded, as we get stronger in our energy and who we are, hopefully what we're teaching ourselves is our navigation system on who we're asking the questions to has a tendency to be more aligned in with our energy. Not that we stop asking or we stop seeking, but that we're seeking it in a pathway that moves with our flow. It moves with the flow. So releasing the fear that by asking, by seeking guidance, counsel, that it means there's something wrong with you or that you don't have all the answers, because you don't have all the answers. You don't. And each time that I think that I do, I really check myself and say, maybe I have the answer for myself that feels good and feels right in this moment, but that's all I have the answer for, is in this moment. Okay, so number 12 is really attached. It's kind of like the dimension that opens up to everything. So all of the ancient lessons and teachings of what we know in history, what we know in lessons, what we know in the galaxy, what we know in mathematics is learned through seeking the truth and asking questions. So the card that flipped out is the Lady of the Mirror. Reflection and non-judgment. What we're talking about. Not judging yourself. Okay, so now it's the masculine energy that's asking for support from the feminine energy. Because the feminine energy is really good at falling into compassion, at being able to look at thyself as connected to others, but still in a way that stays. It's solidarity and it's sovereignty at the same time. But unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, it just is what it is. Much of the feminine energy has been oppressed and suppressed. So those strengths have been snuffed out in both men and women, but women just visually represent it more. Or they have represented it more. So, are you judging yourself? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? You can look in the mirror and see a struggle and not like it and still not judge yourself. It's possible to do that. You can get involved in a situation that requires strength and stern direction and still show love to yourself and others. It's possible to still do that. We have this idea that light and love is this floaty, and sometimes it is, and it's beautiful. I love when I'm in that energy, but sometimes the energy is harder, and it's meant to be harder because you're cutting through some rock, you're cutting through some stone, you're releasing something that's sedimentary in there, and it requires carving. Kind of reminds me of what happened yesterday. I think I spoke a little bit about down the block fighting. Well, late last night there was craziness, and so my daughter and I decided to walk down there. And luckily I have really insightful men in this house because they decided to stay back and just kind of watch because they heard just screaming from women and females. And so they didn't want to take them, they stomp themselves down there. So, my daughter and I went down there, and it was very chaotic and a lot of trauma going on, a lot of physical assaulting going on. So I ended up getting involved and helping secure someone safely on the ground until supports came to stop some children from being physically harmed. And in a very, it wasn't a great scene, let's just say. But reflecting later on what had happened, I was able to look at all those that are involved because it's a family that has a lot of struggles, mental health, chemical dependency, just trauma all over the place, probably poor guidance, poor internal guidance, and poor direction given to them from the outside supports as well, family members, and even people that are supposed to, or their jobs are entitled to come in and help, not really actually that helpful, or they're fearful of them. Or maybe some of those supports that come in are just tired of going to this house with the same shit again and again and again. But it just called upon me as I was sitting here thinking about it because, it was very physical for me. And luckily I'm used to a little bit more of that, so it didn't terrify me, but it did terrify my daughter. And so, it made me think about, what that was like for her to experience, her mother involved in that, and what was important for me to do after the matter to help her just let that go, let what she saw, let the energy release it. But then also for me to understand what had transpired and trying to look at it like, yeah, it looked like a terrible scene, but there's a rhyme and a reason for everything, right? What was being taught, what was being learned in that moment, and what was being taught and asked of me maybe next time. I mean, next time I think I was asked, unless I feel like a gun is involved, I'm not probably going to get involved just because I understand a little bit more about the family and how that function works for them. And too many hands in the cookie jar makes it more complicated, I think. But again, even looking at this card and asking us to be able to step back and have non-judgment on something that would be easy to judge. So today, when you're looking at what's coming through for you, whether you're at work or you're at home or it's your friends or it's your family or it's your neighbors or so-and-so at the gas station, if you catch yourself in a moment that something very sharp is coming through, I challenge you to take a different alternative approach to it. It doesn't matter what kind, you get to choose. But change something about that thought to release it, relax it, or let it spring up and out. I challenge you to do that. And then ask yourself, how does that reflect you? How does that reflect you? What are you seeing in front of you that is trying to give a message to you? Is it a message of support, like, yeah, good job? Or is it a message like, hey, you know what? Maybe you might want to think about blah, 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 blah. 44, taking a look in the mirror. So, I hope you all take a look in the mirror today and see something fabulous. Because no matter what is going on in your life, there are great things about you. Don't ever forget that. There are great things about you, no matter who said no or what. And if you think, you know what, everything is fabulous and everyone else sucks, remind yourself that there are things that suck about you too. And I say that only with love. All right. Well, I hope everyone has a great day. And I will talk to you all soon. Bye.